Now, I'm Professor Deepak Chaudhary. I'm going to teach you the strength of materials in this semester. Till these online classes, I'm only going to conduct the lectures of SOM for mechanical A division, mechanical B division, as well as for civil. Once our college will open and everything will get regularized, after that, just 1 minute. Shreyas. Hello, Shreyas. Shreyas. Hello, Shreyas. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
For all students, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, just 1 minute. नाही त्याची गरज नाही ना. सर्वेश्वर माहिती आहे मला. हॅलो.
Yes.
Just 1 minute. याच्यात तर काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही आहे यार. व्हॉल्यूम कमी होता. Hello, just 1 minute. There is some problem. Hello. Ashish sir. Now, is it audible? Okay. Okay. So what I was talking, till online classes are there, I'm only going to teach you the strength of material for mechanical A, mechanical B, as well as for civil. Few topics will covered by Ashish Chaudhary sir also. I have been assigned for the regular strength of material faculty to the B division mechanical, and Ashish Chaudhary sir will going to take for A division. Okay. Now about the subject. Subject is the strength of materials, which is very, very important subject. One of the basic for all other design related subject to the mechanical as well as civil. Before starting the lecture, I would like to give you some instructions to you people. The first thing, you have to carry the pen, paper, means notebook. You have to maintain one proper notebook which you have to submit once the college will resume. Then everybody should have the calculator, because it is not possible to do the calculation here itself. I am going to teach you on the board like a classroom. Okay, for that all of you are comfortable with this system. And if I ask some doubts, if I ask some questions, if I ask some calculations, you do the calculation at your desk and unmute yourself and give the answer. One more important request, unnecessarily don't unmute yourself and don't switch on your video also. Keep your video off. If I ask somebody, if I take the name here and if I ask somebody to unmute yourself and give the answers, only that student should give the answer. Okay. Now about the today's lecture. Before giving the introduction of the strength of material, about the strength of material, introduction of the strength of material, and what we are going to learn in the strength of material, that I'm going to tell you tomorrow. In today's lecture, if possible tomorrow also, this first and second lectures are the bridge program. Now, what is this bridge program? The prerequisite for this subject strength of material is the engineering mechanics. Means you should be comfortable in engineering mechanics to do well in strength of material. In this, particularly in engineering mechanics, static part is very important as related to the strength of material. There are some parts which you have not studied in the engineering mechanics, but which is required for the strength of material. Here, so ये जो gap है, here that gap we are going to cover in today's and tomorrow's lecture. Okay. The first thing is that about the support reaction. All of you know how to calculate the support reactions for the beam. I hope that, I assume that all of you know that the different types of beams. Is it visible? Shreyas, unmute yourself and tell me. Okay.
Yes, it is visible.
The first one is the types of beam. Okay. The first one. Then next important instructions to you all. Okay. From tomorrow, I am not going to admit anybody personally. You have to register in that sheet, and I will again resend the invitation tomorrow once again. Those who receive the invitation and those who join with that link is not, we don't require to admit them. But if you don't register and if you don't get the email, if you are joining by link, okay, we have to admit you people. Okay, so today I admit most of the students, but from tomorrow I'm not going to admit anybody personally. So you have to join with the invitation link only. Okay, this is for the safety. Unnecessarily any XYZ person or intruder should not enter in the meeting. Okay, so let's start with the type of beam. You have studied the types of beam in the first year. The first type of beam is the simply supported beam. Simply supported beam is the beam which is supported at its two extreme ends with the different type of supports. So when the beam is supported at its two extreme ends, then such type of beam is known as a simply supported beam. Load may be anything, it may be the point load, it may be the UVL, but when the beam is supported at its two extreme ends, such type of beam is known as a simply supported beam, and hope that all of you know how to calculate the support reactions for the simply supported beam. The second type of beam is the cantilever beam. Cantilever beam. Now, what is the cantilever beam? If the beam is supported at one end and other end is free, then such type of beam is known as a cantilever beam. Once again, I am repeating. The beam which is supported at one end and other end is free, such type of beam is known as a cantilever beam. And whenever the cantilever beam in which we have to restrict all the three type of motion, there should not be a vertical linear motion, there should not be any horizontal linear motion, as well as we have to restrict the rotational motion also. And to restrict all these three types of motion, the support required for the cantilever beam is the fixed support. That's why for cantilever beam, the support is always a fixed support. Here in cantilever beam, only at one end, if we use the hinge support and if you apply the load, the significance of the hinge support is that it cannot restrict the rotational motion. At the hinge support, the rotational motion is allowed. So since the rotational motion is allowed here, and if instead of fixed support, if we use the hinge support, it can't remain in the equilibrium position, it will fall down. That's why in cantilever beam, the beam is supported at one end and other end is free, and this support is always a fixed support. I'm coming to that types of support also after the type of beam. The third type of beam is the continuous beam. Now, what is the continuous beam? When the beam is supported by more than two supports. When the beam is supported by more than two supports. Here, suppose this is one support, this is another support, this is third support. So when the beam is supported by more than two support, then such type of beam is known as a continuous beam. We know that when we consider any beam, we are considering it is in equilibrium, and by applying the conditions of equilibrium, we are going to calculate the support reactions. And all of you know that we have only three conditions of equilibrium. By using the three conditions of equilibrium for any beam or for any structure which is in equilibrium, we can get only three equations, and by using three equations, we can calculate only three unknowns. Okay. Now, if you consider this simply supported beam, what I have drawn, here at A there is a hinge support. At the hinge support there are two components of reactions, means there are two unknowns. At the roller support there is only one component of reactions, so there is only one unknown. So all together for this there are three unknowns, and by using the three conditions of equilibrium we can calculate the three unknowns. Whereas in cantilever beam there is a fixed support. At the fixed support, horizontal motion, vertical motion, as well as rotary motion, all the three types of motions are restricted. And to restrict all the three types of motions, to restrict the horizontal motion, there is a horizontal component of reactive force. To restrict the vertical motion, there is a vertical component of reactive force. And to restrict the rotational motion, there is a reactive moment. So at the fixed support, there are three unknowns, and for cantilever beam also, since there are three unknowns, by using the three conditions of equilibrium, we can calculate all the three unknowns. But in continuous beam, here since supports are more than two supports, here suppose this is the hinge, this is the roller, and this is also hinge. Here there are two unknowns, here there is one unknown, and here there are again two unknowns. So altogether there are five unknowns. And to calculate the five unknowns, we require the five equations. Okay. So by using the five equations, we can calculate the five unknowns, but the question is that how we can get the five equations. Okay. So remember one thing, when the number of unknowns are more than the number of equations in a structure, when the number of unknowns are more than the number of equations, or in other words, we can say that in a structure when the support reactions cannot calculate by using only the conditions of equilibrium, then such type of structure is known as an indeterminate structure. It is known as an indeterminate structure, when the support reactions cannot be calculated by using the conditions of equilibrium. Such type of structure is known as the indeterminate structure. But let me tell you, indeterminate structure is not in your syllabus. You have to study only determinate structure in which the support reactions can be calculated by using only conditions of equilibrium. This indeterminate structures will study by the civil students in fourth semester, structural analysis subject. In fourth semester, structural analysis. Okay. Till now, in third semester, you have to learn again determinate structure also for civil student also. Okay. So we have to study only the determinate structure in which the support reactions are calculated by using the conditions of equilibrium. So this is all about the types of beam. Then the next point is the types of support. All of you know the different type of support and their significance, which you have studied in the first year. The first one is the roller support, second one is the hinge support. At the roller support, there is only one unknown. At the roller hinge support, there are two unknowns. And third type of support is the fixed support, where there are three unknowns. Okay, so I'm not going in detail studying the types of support and all these things. Next point is the types of loading. Types of loading. This also you have studied in the first year. The first type of load is the point load, or it is also known as a concentrated load. The effect of the entire load is concentrated at one point, so it is known as a concentrated load. Second one is the UDL, uniformly distributed load. Okay, so this is the UDL. Let the intensity of the UDL is W kilonewton per meter, and let it spread over a length of L meter. It is a uniformly distributed load. The name itself indicates that the distribution is uniform. That's why it is known as a uniformly distributed load. If you take this 1 meter length, or if you take next 1 meter length, here the distribution is uniform. On this 1 meter, if the load is 100 kilonewton, on this next 1 meter also the load will be 100 kilonewton only. That's why it is known as a uniformly distributed load. Okay. Now all of you know that in first year, while calculating the support reactions, we have converted this UDL as well as UVL into a single equivalent point load. You know how to convert it into single equivalent point load, what will be the magnet of that point load, what will be the point of application of that point load, everything is known to you. Okay, but now onwards, you have to do the same thing. You have to convert this third type of load is the UVL. Okay, UVL load is expressed by triangle, or it is also known as a triangular load, or it is also denoted by a trapezium. It is also known as a trapezium load, trapezoidal load. Both are the UVL. Both are the uniformly varying load. This is the uniformly distributed load. Here the distribution is uniform. Here the distribution is varying. Here, ये 1 मीटर में जितना लोड होगा, same load won't be there in the next 1 meter. So it is varying load. Okay, and that variation is uniform. This linear variation is there. Uniform variation is there, and that's why it is known as a uniformly varying load. This is also uniformly varying load. This is also uniformly varying load. Both are the uniformly varying load. The shape of this figure is like a triangle. That's why it is known as a triangular load. The shape of this figure is like a trapezium. That's why it is known as a trapezoidal load. Okay. Now, whenever we represent the UVL here, then whether it is a trapezoidal load or the triangular load, remember the height of this graphical representation of a UVL, the height represents the intensity of the load at that particular position. It represents the intensity. Now in UVL, here in triangular load, we can find that here the height is 0. Means here the intensity is 0. And this intensity is linearly vary. This height represents the intensity. This intensity is linearly vary and it becomes maximum over here, and this intensity is suppose W2 kilonewton per meter. Okay. Now at this initial starting point, since the intensity is 0, that's why here the height is 0 and the shape become like a triangle. That's why it is known as a triangular load. Whereas this is also UVL. But at this starting point, the initial intensity is not 0. Here some initial intensity is there, and which again linearly varies and become W2 after the length of L meter. Okay. Both are similar load, only here W1 is 0, that's why shape become like a triangle. Here there is some initial intensity and that's why the shape become like a trapezium. That's why it is known as a trapezoidal load. Otherwise, both are the UVL. Now while solving the sum, for calculating the support reactions, you know that if there is any problem, you unmute yourself and please let me know what is the problem. Okay, Shreyas? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Shreyas?
Yes.
Is
Yes,
it
sir.
going on properly? Is it going on properly?
Yes, yes. Yes.
Rehan is there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. You please unmute yourself and let me know if something is there, if it is going out of camera and something like that. If this part is visible? ये इंटेंसिटी और ये लिखा हुआ दिख रहा है क्या आप लोगों को? ओके फाइन.
Yes, sir.
Now, all of you know how to convert this UDL and UVL into an equivalent point load. In first year, while calculating the support reaction, the first step we used to draw the free body diagram, and in that free body diagram we used to convert this UDL and UVL into an equivalent point load. Do you remember that? Definitely, you must have remembered. So in FBD, while drawing the FBD, we used to convert this UDL and UVL into an equivalent point load. Same procedure we have to follow this year also to calculate the support reaction. Only the thing is that you have to, I will suggest, don't do it physically. You have to assume it in the similar way, but don't do it physically. For example, I will consider one simple example. Let's consider this simply supported beam. Here there is a hinge support. Here there is a roller support. A, B, this is the point load. Then this is the UDL, 3 meter. Then this is the UVL on 4 meter. Let this distance is 1 meter. Let this is 10 kilonewton, 15 kilonewton per meter. And let this maximum intensity is 20 kilonewton per meter. Okay. For this beam, I have to calculate the support reaction. Okay. Now at point A, there are two components of reactive forces. Since this is a hinge support, let this is HA and this is VA. At point B, there is a roller, so only one unknown, and that is the RB. Okay. Here I have written HA and VA. Here I have not written VB because here HB is 0. Since HB is 0, this VB itself becomes the resultant reaction at B. VA is the vertical component, HA is the horizontal component, and ये दोनों component का अगर मैंने resultant calculate किया, so this becomes the resultant reactive force at point A. Okay, but it is not required. In first year we used to calculate that resultant reaction also. Okay, now what I want to tell you, in now onwards, while calculating the support reactions, we have to assume or we have to think that this UDL and UVL, you have to convert it into equivalent point load, but not physically. No need to draw a separate figure and show its equivalent point load. Everything you have to do mentally, and you have to directly write down the calculations. Okay, I'm going to do that calculations here. Now to calculate the support reactions, first I'm going to use the moment equation using the condition of equilibrium. So first I'm going to use the algebraic summation of the moment of all forces about point A. Is the first condition of equilibrium which I'm going to use. If I take the moment at point A, the moment of HA about point A will be 0. Moment of VA about point A will be 0 because both are passing through A, both perpendicular distance from A will be 0. We are taking the moment about point A. Since we are taking the moment about point A, we have to take the perpendicular distance from A. Okay, so दोनों का perpendicular distance 0 हो जाएगा. That's why the moment of both HA and VA will be 0. Moment of this 10 kilonewton force about point A is clockwise. Let's consider anti-clockwise positive. So this clockwise is negative. So minus 10 into 1. Now for taking the moment of this UDL, don't convert it equivalent point load physically. Okay, because in second semester in strength of material हम लोगों को सिर्फ support reaction नहीं calculate करने का है. We have to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. If you convert this UDL and UVL into equivalent point load, and if you draw the shear force and bending moment diagram, the nature of the shear force and bending moment diagram will be totally different. Okay, for UDL, the shear force diagram is an inclined straight line, whereas bending moment diagram is a parabola. For UVL, shear force diagram is a parabola and bending moment diagram will be a cubic curve. But if you convert it into equivalent point load, the nature of that diagrams will be different. And that's why what I'm suggesting from beginning only, you do the practice so that you can calculate the support reactions and you can do the calculations directly, assuming it as a UDL and UVL, directly without converting them into an equivalent point load. Okay, let's see how. So the moment of this HAV about point A will be 0, moment of this 10 is clockwise, so minus 10 into 1, moment of this UDL is also clockwise, so minus. Now I'm mentally converting it into an equivalent point load. So 15 theta, means here I'm writing 15 theta. So this bracket represents the equivalent point load for this UDL. And we know that the equivalent point load for the UDL acts at its midpoint, multiplied by that perpendicular distance. So in another bracket I'm writing 1 plus 3 by 2. Okay, so this is the equivalent point load for the UDL and this is the perpendicular distance of that equivalent point load from the A. So without converting that UDL into an equivalent point load, here we can write it directly in this way. Here, even after practice, you can directly write it as a 45 into 1 plus 1.5, 2.5. Directly in this way also you can write, not an issue. In first year, you used to get the 8 marks to calculate the support reactions. In second year, you will get only 1 mark to calculate the support reactions. And if support reactions are correct, your further sums will be correct. If support reactions are wrong, your entire sum will be wrong. Remember, this SFDBMD sums normally come from 10 to 12 marks. अगर support reactions बराबर आया तो 10 to 12 marks मिल सकते हैं. अगर support reactions wrong हो गया, and even if your entire procedure is correct, you will not get the marks. So be careful while calculating the support reactions, okay, and not that difficult. It is not such a something rocket science or something like that. Very simple. So this is the moment of this UDL. Now next one is the moment of this UVL. Now it is also downward. So creating the clockwise movement about A, that's why minus according to our sign convention, into in bracket equivalent point load for this UVL. It is half into base into height. This is the magnet of the equivalent point load into perpendicular distance. Now we know that this equivalent point load will act at the centroid of the triangle. And we know that the centroid of a triangle, if this base is B, then centroid of a triangle is at a distance of 2b by 3 from the vertex and b by 3 from the base, or you can say that b by 3 from the right angle corner. Okay. So this equivalent point load for the triangular load will act at the centroid of that triangle. So the distance of that equivalent point load from A is 4, I'm writing it in another bracket, 4 plus 4 यहाँ तक का distance हो गया, plus this distance. How much is that? It is 2b by 3. That is 2 into 4 by 3. Hope that all of you understood this. This is the equivalent point load for the UVL, and this is the distance of that equivalent point load from A. This is 4, and this distance is 2b by 3. That is 2 into 4 by 3. So I suggest do the practice to calculate it directly. Mentally calculate करने का and directly लिख देने का. Okay. So this is the moment of this equivalent point load. Then moment of this RB, it produces the anti-clockwise movement about A, so it's plus according to our sign convention. So it is the force RB into perpendicular distance from A. 4 plus 4, 8, which is equal to 0. Simplify this, you will get RB. Okay. Hope that all of you are comfortable with this calculation. Then use another condition, summation of fx equal to 0. If I use another condition of equilibrium, summation of fx equal to 0, I will get HA equal to 0. Then use summation of fy equal to 0. If I summation of fy equal to 0, then dA minus 10 minus 15 3s are 45 minus this calculation 20 into 4, 80 by 2, it is 40. Plus RB, which we have already calculated, equal to 0. Complete the equation and calculate the VA. In this way, you can calculate the VA. What I would like to know, what I would like to tell you, all of you know this procedure. Only we used to convert this UDL and UVL into an equivalent point load, and we used to do this calculation. But what I am suggesting now in second year, instead of converting it into equivalent point load, directly do the practice to do this calculation. करने का वही है, but do it mentally. Not physically. No, don't draw it actually. Is that clear? Shreyas? Okay.
Yes, sir, it is clear.
What time is it now?
10 to.
Okay. Now, I think at 10:15 you have one more lecture. Okay. So tomorrow we'll continue. Before finishing the lecture, tomorrow we'll continue from this topic only. Okay. Before conclude, I will like to tell you, जो लोगों को मैंने आज admit किया है, या few students को मैंने admit भी नहीं किया, refuse किया है, okay? I request them fill up that link, fill up that form once again, okay? And tomorrow again I will generate the new link. ये link मैं discard कर देता हूँ, and I am going to generate the new link tomorrow morning, okay? So you have to join the meeting with that link only. Tomorrow I am not going to admit anybody who is not in that list. External person ko I am not going to admit from tomorrow. Is that clear? If you have any difficulty, send me the message personally or on the group. No problem. Okay. Thank you very much. Join for the next lecture at 10:15. Initially for today and tomorrow there will be some starting troubles, but after comfortable, hope that everything will go very smoothly. Okay. Your suggestions are always welcome. If you want to suggest something for this online classes, here your suggestions are always welcome. You can send me the message personally or call me. Thank you very much.